Good morning, students. Today our topic is operating system, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about definition of an operating system, architecture of an operating system, and different types of an operating system. So this is chapter 4, basics of operating system of unit 1. So uh, let us take some important point first of all regarding to the operating system. First of all, in simple word, operating system is an interface between the user and the computer hardware, or we can say that it between the application software and the computer hardware. So this is the simplest definition of an operating system. First point is, an operating system is simply a system. It is a system software. Is a systems application which manage user application and their interaction with the system hardware. And second point is, an operating system is a program that act as an intermediary between a user and the computer hardware. And third point, operating system is a resource allocator. It means it provides resource to different parts of a computer system. Much of the operating system theory concentrate on optimal use of the computing resources. And this is the diagram of an operating system. You can easily see that here is a user, then application software, then operating system, and the hardware. Concept is very simple. User interact with application software, and application software interact with the operating system, and operating system directly interact with hardware. So we can say that application software cannot directly interact with the hardware, or a user cannot able to interact with the hardware. So for this purpose, operating system is required. So operating system work as an interface between the application software, or we can say that user and the hardware. You can easily see that here is the operating system. So it works as an interface between the user and the computer hardware. This is the simplest definition of an operating system. So concept is very simple, and you can easily see here that there is a diagram, there is a arrow in both upward and downward direction. It means data can be taken or given by operating system. So user interact with application software. Application software can interact with the hardware. Where application software interact with operate application software interact with operating system, and operating system finally interact with the hardware. So user and application software cannot be directly interact with the hardware. That's why there is a need of a system software that is called the operating system here. So that is the use of an operating system. Next is the roles of an operating system. What is the role of an operating system in our computer system? So basically, first point is the definition. Regarding to the definition, it provides user interface. User can directly interact, cannot directly interact with the hardware. So it provides a user. It provides a interface to user. And the second point is program execution. So different programs in our computer system can be executed only by the use of an operating system. And third thing is handling input and output operation. Different input operations or output operations can be handled using an operating system. So different and output operations um, handling is done by operating system. Then next is manipulation of the file system. As we know that in our computer system everything is stored in the forms of file, and so these files can be managed by an operating system. Next is error detection and handling. If there is any error in a computer system, so that error detection and handling is also done by an operating system. And next is resource allocator means resource allocation means different types of resources regarding to the computer system are allocated by an operating system. And if more than one unit or one unit of a computer system asks a particular resource at a time, that operating system decide whether this resource is given to uh, that part or not. And next task of operating system is resource allocation, and after the resource allocation, accounting. So it also manage different parts, different task of a computer systems. And last is information resource protection. In computer system, in different types of information and protection of resources are also done by an operating system. So these are the different role of an operating systems. And next is why we need an operating system. So we need an operating system because of handling input and output, and because of recognize and install peripheral devices, means input and output devices, and it manages files and folders. Due to operating system, we are capable of share all memories, different types of memories in our computer systems. uh, Operating system handles systems errors and alert users regarding to security and uses of different resources, proper uses of different resources, and it manages system security. You can give your password using an operating system. It allows software to communicate with hardware, and duties of operating systems. Uh, the operating system is capable to move data and to and from hard disk, and it loads and runs other software applications. So other software application can also be run by using an operating system. So operating systems basically perform many tasks in our computer systems regarding to file management, input output, devices management, memory management. These are the all that these are the all are the tasks of an operating system, and because of this we need an operating system in our computer system. Next is function of an operating system. What are the different function of an operating system? As I told you that memory management, different types of memory. There are only two operations regarding to a memory, whether it is a read operation or write operation. So memory is managed by operating system. Different task or process management. Process is nothing but only the program in execution. So different process are executed used by an operating systems. So it manage which process is to be executed or not, and basically it provides scheduling of the process regarding to the process, that which process is going to be executed or not. And then storage management, different types of data uh, which we want to store in computer system can be stored using an operating system. So it basically provides storage management, and which part of the memory it will store successfully, that is also decided by an operating system, and what is the process for it is. So there is certain process to store data in our computer system, that is also decided by an operating system. And device on input output management, all devices and different input output management is also done by an operating system. And last is scheduling. Scheduling means if there are more than one process, then and there are more than one process executed in a computer system, then then operating system decide which process is to be executed first and which process is to be going to be executed later on in the computer systems. So that is called also called as a scheduling. So so order of execution of different process is also decided by an operating system. These are the different tasks. These are the different functions of an operating system. Next is memory management. So let us consider these all of these functions in detail. First of all, memory management. Memory management is a process of managing a computer memory. That is called the memory management. And compared to, as we know that computer memories are of two types. These are the primary memory and secondary memory. The memory portion for programs and software is allocated after releasing the memory space, and every single program requires some memory space for its execution, which is provided the memory management unit. So memory management is basically managing by our operating system, and these are the two types, primary and secondary, or we can say that memory and secondary memory. So all the tasks related to memory management are also done by an operating system. You can easily see that here is a small diagram. Here you can easily see that this is a RAM, and a particular portion of a RAM is allocated to the our operating system, and the rest portion is allocated to the user space, in which uh, we can access a program using this user space. And this is the main memory, means RAM is there, and that is backing stored. We can consider it as a hard disk, and we can easily swap the program using hard disk to RAM and RAM to hard disk only because of an operating system. So that is the main purpose of an operating system. Next is a task or process management. As a process is, as I told you, nothing but only the programming execution is also called as a process. Or when we compare it with a program, then always remember that program is an passive entity while process is an active entity. So process management is also done by our operating system. So process management is an instance of a program that is being executed. We can also say that that is an exact and accurate definition of an process. Process is an instance of a program, and there are two types of process methods: single processor and multitasking method. The single process method deals with the single application running at a time, and the multitasking method allows for multiple process at a time. So execution of the process is also done by the operating system, and there are different phases of a process execution. These all phases can be managed by an operating system. We can easily see that when the process is new at the just beginning, it is in the new state, and then after it is ready to execute, then it is in ready state. After that it is running state. It may be blocked at that particular at that time, or after block it is again ready for after some time. So and then when finally when the process is executed, then there is a exit phase. So there are we can see that there are different phases of a process, and these all phases of a process are managed by our operating system. Next is storage management. So storage management is a function of the operating system that handles memory allocation of the data. The system consists of different types of memory devices such as primary storage memory RAM and secondary storage memory hard disk and cache storage memory. So all these types of memory can also be managed by our operating system. So these are the there is a important function that is called the storage management of an operating system. Next is there is scheduling. Scheduling instruction and data placed in the primary storage or cache memory, which is referred by the running program. However, the data is lost when the power supply is cut off. And the secondary storage is the permanent storage devices. The operating system allocates the storage place when new files are created and the request for memory access is scheduled. So these are some important points regarding to scheduling of an operating system, regarding to the storage management of an operating system. Next is you can see the scheduling. So what is scheduling? Scheduling by an operating system is the process of controlling and prioritizing the message sent to a processor. That is called the scheduling. So which process is going to be executed or not, this is decided by our operating system. The operating system maintain a constant amount of work for the processor and thus balance the workload. As a result, each process is completed within a stipulated time frame. So that is also called, that is done by that is done by operating system, that which process is going to be executed or which process is going to be executed later on, that is decided by an operating system. So next you can see that operating system function input output management is also a very important operating system function. So it also manage different input and output devices. So it handles input and output from attached hardware devices such as keyboard, mouse, monitor, hard disk and printers. So these input and output devices are all managed by our operating system, at ensuring that device drivers are the drivers or software that are that comes with different hardware, and these where until and unless you cannot install and these the device driver into your computer system, the hardware cannot be able to work at all. So operating system ensuring that different device drivers are present and up to date, and a device driver is a piece of information as a is a piece of information, a piece of software that allows the processor and device to communicate with each other. So operating system is tasked to manage different device drivers and check whether they are up to date or not, and they are properly working or not. So different input and output devices management are also done by an operating system. Next, so these are the different functions of an operating system. It is a very important question and asks so many number of type of examination that what are the different functions of an operating system. So let us take a quick review first. Memory management means all the operations regarding to memory, access operation regarding to a memory, how manage memory can be accessed. These all are the tasks related to the memory management are decided by an operating system. And then process management, which process is going to be executed first and which process is going to be executed later on, and these are decided by an operating system also. Then storage management also. Storage management means where to store the different types of data or programs and instructions, that is also decided by operating system. Next is device or input output management. So different input and output management are um, also managed by an operating system. And different device drivers, the, each and every hardware part is comes with a device driver, and operating system are able to check whether these device driver work properly or not, or they are up to date or not. So regarding these information, operating systems work in an efficient manner with the different input and output devices. And then scheduling, which process is going to be executed first and which process is going to execute later on, that is also decided by an operating system. So these are the different functions of an operating system. Next, there is a very important term, and this is asked so many number of times of examination, and there are basically two types of category of an operating system. These are CUI and GUI. Basically refers for character user interface operating system and graphical user interface operating system. So as the name suggests, as their work is also character user interface, means user can interact with an or operating system operating system is able to interact with the hardware using characters, or able to interact with the user using characters. Character user interface, these are the three words. Okay, character user interface. So user can interact with operating system by typing different types of characters. That's why it is called the character user interface. And second thing is graphical user interface. So user can interact with operating system using different graphs, different symbols, different icons. So this is called the graphical user interface, GUI. So these are the two terms, CUI and GUI. So most of the time this is asked in examination, what is the difference between CUI and GUI. So these are the some point to point, these are some discussion regarding to CUI and GUI. CUI stands for character user interface. Character user interface, it means that a user can interact with an operating system using using different characters, or type, or using type um, after type of different characters. And in CUI, user had no interaction with the application by making use of commands. In CUI, user has to interact with the application by making use of commands. So actually, set of characters is also known as a command. So command is given to operating system, and according to that command, certain tasks will be performed. So this is called the CUI. And in CUI, only one task can run at a time. So that is a limitation of a CUI, that only one task can run on a, or run at a one time. We are not able to run more than one task at the same time. And CUI is not easier to navigate than GUI, so it is hard to navigate CUI as compared to GUI. And CUI, where user has to type and keyboard to process. So physically, when we want to work using CUI, or character user interface, we have to work with keyboard. We are not able to work with mouse using CUI. So keyboard is required and compulsory whenever we want to use with CUI, character user interface based operating systems. So one of the most important example of CUI is DOS operating system. DOS, full form of DOS is disk operating system. So these are the three points regarding to CUI. It is basically a stand for character user interface, and CUI user has to interact with the application by making use of commands. And in CUI, only one task can run at a time. CUI is not easy to navigate than GUI, and CUI, where user had to type on keyboard to process. Next is GUI, as the name suggests, graphical user interface, GUI. So GUI stands for graphical user interface. In GUI, it is a user interface which user interacts with application by making use of the graphical or visual clue. So it may be icon, it may be any symbol using GUI. Suppose let us take a live example of it. If you are working on a computer, if you are working on a computer system, then you just click on the icon of my computer or recycle bin to open and you are able to open that you are able to open your computer or recycle bin at the point of time. So it is because of GUI. You don't write a command, or you don't give a command to a computer system by typing some text. You just click by using uh, a mouse and on a particular icon, and you are able to interact with the operating system. So that is the use of GUI. The GUI stands for graphical user interface. In almost all modern computer systems, all use GUI. All of them use GUI. And now character user interface such as DOS is a essential part of all operating systems. So they are not work as separate part. So it is also very important. Uh, So in GUI, it is user interface with user interact with the applications by making use of graphical or visual flow. In GUI, more than one task can be run simultaneously, and in GUI, much easier to navigate than CUI. And one important point regarding to GUI is that GUI makes it possible to use a mouse instead of a keyboard. So we can able to interact with mouse in place of keyboard using GUI. But in case of CUI, use of keyboard is compulsory. Without keyboard, we cannot able to interact with the operating system. So these are the two different types of an operating system. So these are some important points discussed regarding to an operating system, such as definition, such as functions, and two different categories, CUI and GUI. And this is very important question, and there are two important questions regarding to this video. First of all, different types of functions of an operating system, and the difference between CUI and GUI. So always write the difference between CUI and GUI in detail and in tabular form. It will give you a maximum marks. So first, so let us take a quick revision of all of these points. So first of all, definition of an operating system. So very simple definition of an operating system is: operating system is an interface between the user and the computer hardware. This is the simplest and oldest definition of an operating system. And when there is a question asked regarding to an operating system and definition of operating system, just write this definition and mention this diagram also. This is the diagram which shows the functionality, or to show the or gives you a clear cut idea about the what is an operating system. And in this diagram you can easily see that using operating system, user or an application software can interact with the hardware. User gives command to application software, and application software work application different application software can able to work able using operating systems, and operating system finally deals with the hardware. So you can say that operating system is the interface between the user and the hardware here. Next is a role of an operating system. First role is the definition, because it provides a user interface, and because of the operating system we are able to execute different programs. It handles different input operations, and it is used to manipulation the file systems. It also find error detection and handling the errors also. Different types of error resource allocation is also done by the operating systems. Different accounting tasks are also performed by the operating systems. So these are the all are the roles of an operating system in our computer system. So a question may be asked such as, what is the role of an operating system in our computer system? So you can write all these points, and if it is asked in detail, then you can also uh, mention them in detail. Next is need of an operating system. Why we need an operating system? We need an operating system because we want. So why we need a operating system? Because handling input output, or if we want to execute a computer, or we want to execute a program in our computer system, then it is also possible by uh, operating system. By the use of operating system, it recognizes and install different peripheral devices. Due to operating system, we can install different peripheral devices into our computer system. Operating system have capability to recognize these all devices, all peripheral devices, and it manages different files and folders. Due to operating system is capable to manage different files and folders, and it share the memories into our computer system. So it share all the memory into our computer systems. Next, it handles systems and alert users. So whenever you, so in our computer system, is there is an error, this error will be find out using only using by using an operating systems, and it alert different users. It alerts user at different point of times, and it manages also system securities. It allows software to communicate with the hardware. Using operating system, different application software are able to communicate with only the hardware. Without operating system, different application software are not able to communicate with the hardware. And next is it moves data to and from the hard disk. Using operating system, we are able to take data from a hard disk, or we can store data to our hard disk, and it loads and runs other software applications also, such as the language processor and other. These all are the different software applications which are run also, which are also run in our computer system, are capable to execute only because of the operating system. And these are the next important point is that is very important question regarding to the functions of regarding the operating system. This is the function of an operating system. These are the different functions. So this may be asked in your examination, that what are the different functions of an operating system. So these are the different functions of an operating system. You can easily see that: memory management, task or process management, storage management, device or input output management, and scheduling. So these are the different functions of an operating system. Memory management, it means all the operations regarding to memory or access operations, or the when we want to read a data or write a data into a memory. So all these types of the memory management function and memory management are done by operating system. And as we know that process is nothing but only the program in execution, also called the process, or a process is the instance of a program. We can also say that. So all the process management are also done by the uh, operating system, and process have different phases or different life, and it has a particular life cycle of it. You can easily see that this is the life cycle of it. So it is also managed by our operating system, and this is the diagram uh, related to a memory management. You can easily see that there is a RAM in which particular area is fixed for an operating system, and the rest part is basically used by, that is also called the user space, in which user programs can occupy their space. And then there are two operations: swap in, swap out. Whenever data can be taken from backing stored in hard disk to main memory, that is called the swap in. And whenever data is passed through from RAM to secondary storage, that is called the swap out. So all these all operations can be done by operating systems. And process management, as I told earlier, process is only the instance of a program. So different phases of a process are also maintained by operating system. And next is storage management, next is scheduling. These are already discussed in detail. And last is a character, last is a CUI and GUI. That is the difference, and this is asked so many number of time in our examination uh, for ninth class, that what is the difference between CUI and GUI. So all are the two basic category of an operating system. CUI is the oldest category, and graphical user, most of the modern computer system use this operating system use the graphical user interface. And the difference is very clear. In CUI, commands is given in the forms of characters by using keyboard, and in GUI, mouse commands is given in the forms of uh, mouse, by given a mouse click, using a mouse. So this is and in GUI, different icons, different symbols are used. to give a command to the computer system. So Windows is an example of GUI and DOS is an example of CUI. So these are the some important points. I hope you understand all these points. In next video we will discuss some more terms regarding to an operating system or different types of operating system. So thanks for watching this video.